Whoa. Casper's holding up his hand telling me to
quote, zip it.
for Sports Talk 105.1. I'm Morgan McCarthy. Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Starting off on a colder note this morning with temperatures mostly in the low to mid 20s, which will give way to a very mild day as we'll have sunshine and temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. This comes as we'll have winds out of the southwest that could get breezy at times between 5 to 15 miles per hour. Otherwise, a cold front passes through tonight, passing through dry. This will make way for another sunny day for tomorrow, but much cooler with our highs only in the low 30s. I'm 13 First Alert meteorologist Mike D'Andrea.
It's time to save half with half-off deals. It's a great way for you to get goods and services that you will love, and you don't have to pay full price. Start saving this Friday, November 24th, with Boone's Cleaning Services, Main Street Cafe, and Social House of Rice Lake. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save with this week's half-off deals. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Wednesday. DK Show up on the air on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Also available, sportstalk1051.com. Stream it up over there. You got your app, your Google and Alexa home devices, and the video stream, which is, up and rolling here this morning, day before Thanksgiving. Appreciate you making us a part of your starts here this morning. What do we got on the good old game plan for us this morning? Hey, how about Marquette with the big W last night against number one Kansas, 73-59. Marquette remaining undefeated on the early season, 5-0, but definitely a big key resume building win to begin their season. It was a little testy. If you were maybe watching it last night, some tempers flaring in that, but nonetheless, Marquette picking up a big win in the early parts of their season. Speaking of some college hoops, Badgers will be back in action tonight too, 7:30, taking on SMU. So the tournaments, holiday tournaments, pre-holiday tournaments, continuing to roll on here. We'll talk some hoops, including we got another big game tonight. It might be a kind of like a TV radio night, if you will. But the Bucks also big game for them tonight as they go to Boston to take on the Celtics. I think when the schedule came out, actually not, maybe not. Oh yeah, when the schedule came out, but then after, of course, Drew Holiday getting traded to Boston after Milwaukee traded him to Portland as part of that Damian Lillard trade. I think a lot of us kind of looked at when the Bucks and the Celtics would be matched up, and here we go. We got game one tonight. Boston favored by 5.5, by the way, right now. So Bucks, though, riding that 5-game winning streak. Can they continue to roll here? Can they continue maybe get it up to 6. Let's talk about it. Let's get some picks. Let's get some predictions coming into this thing. So we're going to talk some hoops, both on the college side and on the pro side there. A couple of big games on the docket for tonight, which should be some nice treats or pre-Thanksgiving football sort of games to get you ready for tomorrow's games, which include the Packers taking on the Detroit Lions tomorrow. Already here. We're going to talk about that. We're going to hit that up and preview that since we're not in tomorrow. You know the drill. It's going to be like a football Friday. Let's get some keys to victory, key matchups. Anybody willing, besides the ever-optimistic G-Man out there, to pick a Packers W tomorrow afternoon? You willing to go out on that ledge and think that Green Bay can go into Detroit and maybe steal a game from their division opponents there? Can the Packers maybe start to put together a string of W's and maybe, perhaps, potentially make a postseason run? Huh? What? We'll get you the latest on some of the injury surrounding Green Bay, including Luke Musgrave, which sounds like it was a pretty darn serious injury for Luke Musgrave. In fact, spending some time at the hospital. So, abdomen injury. Matt LaFleur yesterday saying, or called it a scary situation, saying it was pretty significant. So, and Musgrave didn't report it during the game. You have to wonder. Remember, he took that one hit, and on the sidelines, he was went to the sidelines and looked like he got a little shaken up and such. He has to be over there, but yeah, sounds like it was pretty bad. So I would have to imagine he's probably not going to go tomorrow. But we'll see, I guess. But if you're looking at the injury report from yesterday, not a whole lot of change. Really, not a whole lot out there. So, well, we'll see tomorrow how everything's going to play out, including can Jair play? Can Darnell Savage, is he going to be a game day? Is he going to be able to go after being, on that 21-day practice window opening up? Is they going to throw him out there right away and such? We shall see. But we'll talk about some keys to victory, some key matchups, and all that good stuff surrounding the green and gold. Plus, since, again, we won't be back until next Monday, talk a little border battle, axe game, Badgers, Gophers, make some picks and predicts for that as well. It is Wednesday, which means stock report day. So whose stock is rising and whose stock is falling? In your opinion, whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling? Start to hit me up with some of those texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Okay? So, full docket for us here this morning. So let's jump right into it. Okay, we're going to lead things off, chatting a little green and gold here, since it's kind of a football Wednesday. We got a game tomorrow with Thanksgiving there. What are your keys to victory? What are your key matchups? Anybody going to predict a Packers W? Truth, like honestly, you feel like not just because you're going to be rooting for them, but is anybody willing to go out there and pick that W? What do you think? Do you think Green Bay has I mean, everybody's got a shot, but how much of a shot do you put on that thing? When you kind of look at it, we know Detroit, one of the better teams, not just in the NFC, but probably across the entire league. They're 8-2 this year, right? 8-2. Things, just they're the 2 seed right now. Would have gotten really interesting if Philly would have lost on Monday night against the Chiefs over there. But nonetheless, you look at it. You look at what Detroit does really well. Their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson over there, still continues to impress with his offense over there. The number 2 overall offense in terms of yards per game. That is your Detroit Lions. The only team higher than them is Miami, but Detroit averaging nearly 400 yards per game on the offensive side of things. So again, teams looking for a new head coach next year, they're probably going to be looking at the Lions offensive coordinator again for potential openings this year. Detroit, a top 5 team in terms of passing yards. They are 4th. Miami, Houston, Minnesota, the only teams above them. Rushing, top 5 offense or top 5 rushing offense, number 5 in the entire league, 136.6 yards per game. Baltimore, Miami, Cleveland, Chicago, the only 2 or only 4 teams above them. Defensively, they've gotten a whole lot better since the beginning parts of last year, where they really struggled in terms of yards allowed per game. They're a top 10 team. They're in fact 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th in total yards allowed per game, just giving up 313 per game. They're middle of the pack in terms of passing yards. They're giving up 223.5 in the air, but a top 5 team in terms of rushing. So in a game that we're probably not going to have Aaron Jones in, it's going to be a lot of A.J. Dillon and Patrick Taylor. They're going up against a team that has had tremendous success at stopping the run this year. 89.5 yards per game they're just allowing on the ground. And in terms of points, that's the one thing when you look at a lot of these statistics and numbers. So Detroit, defensively, not giving up a ton of yards. But in terms of points per game, they're maybe like bottom third. They're giving up 22.9 points per game. Green Bay is actually ranked a little bit higher, 20.2. So those are just kind of the numbers a little bit here with where Detroit is ranked in a lot of these stuff. And I'm sure a lot of you already knew it because, well, they're in the division and such. But, we last saw Detroit's week 4 back on September 28th, another Thursday night game. In that one, that's where Detroit jumped out to 14 in the first quarter. Opening drive, but they can only get a field goal there. Couldn't do anything after that. Couldn't run the ball for crying out loud. Which, I mean, now you look at Detroit, a top 5 rushing defense out there. But Green Bay as a team attempted 12 runs. 10 of them came from Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon just 5 carries apiece. And that was the game, too, that Aaron Jones came back in, was kind of on a snap count, it looked like. Jordan Love credited with 2 carries there, but Aaron Jones, 5 carries, 18 yards. A.J. Dillon, 5 carries, 11 yards there. Jordan Love was 23 of 36 for 246, a touchdown and 2 picks. Also got sacked 5 times in that game. And Detroit, they were just running the ball all over the place against Green Bay in their first matchup. 43 carries. 43 carries. And this was a David Montgomery game for Detroit. If you want to kind of go down a little bit of a memory lane here. David Montgomery ran the ball for 32 times, 121 yards, 3 tuds, 3 touchdowns in that game. Jared Goff, 19 of 28 for 210. So again, we're going to see another tough test for this Packers run defense. Are they up to the task of stopping this Detroit offense? How big of a game do you think this is for Green Bay? Well, some other numbers here. Romeo, that's when he went 9 catches for 95 yards. Jaden Reed was 3 catches for 55. So, how you feeling about this game, guys? Remember Quay Walker had 19 total tackles in that game too. 19. 10 of them were solos. So let's break it down. All right, we'll take our first break, and then coming up on the leadoff here this morning, kind of a little football Wednesday pre-Thanksgiving preview of tomorrow's game here. Let's hit it up. Plus, I've got a bold prediction. That's coming up next. When it comes to staying active and living pain-free, trust the experts at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, their team of board-certified orthopedic specialists are there to keep you in the game. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they offer cutting-edge treatments and personalized care to help you recover faster and perform better. Hey, don't let pain hold you back. Just visit their state-of-the-art facility where they are dedicated to getting you back to doing what you love. Just visit cvosm.com to schedule an appointment and take the first step towards a healthier, more active you. All right, let's get things rolling here this morning on the leadoff as we're getting set to talk a little Packers and Lions coming up here. Tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, a game that will kick off here. Again, if you look at the injury reports, it was almost like a 3-1, 4-1, and or something like Green Bay's got double-digit players on there, and Detroit's got 4 listed on there, but 3 of the 4 are listed as full participants. So, yeah, Green Bay not that healthy going into this game. So, I can tell you right now, I'm not picking Green Bay to win. I definitely hope I'm wrong in this instance. But so if you are one of those two that also believes that Green Bay is not going to win this, or you're not feeling a Green Bay win, so let me ask you then, what would have to be the game plan? What would be the game plan for Green Bay to come away with a W? What would they have to do and keep the smart aleck responses, just keep it to yourself. It's like, will they score more points? No, duh. All right. But what's the game plan? What would they have to do, in your opinion, to go into Detroit and get that W? For me, I think one of the main things that Green Bay is gonna have to do, and again, I know we keep saying it, and we've said it before, that you could probably say it almost every single week when you get into game plans and such. Protect Jordan Love. That offensive line needs to do a fantastic job at protecting Jordan Love, keeping him upright. We mentioned it, first game, he had 5 sacks. Jordan Love was sacked 5 times. And you look at what Detroit, with that up front, with that defensive front, they can get after him. This is a very, very much improved defense from, I would say at this point, last year. Remember, that defense was struggling. Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator over there, and what they fired there, was it their secondary coach or something like that last year? They've made some huge strides this year. And I think when you look at, one of the main keys to victory here is to make sure that you're protecting Jordan Love. And when you look at it, that's 23 sacks, which is the same amount as Green Bay here. But when I look at Green Bay's offensive line and the inconsistency that they've displayed so far this year, I still get a little nervous about that. I still get a little bit nervous about that. And, not necessarily just, for Jordan Love too, but can this offensive line somehow, some way, open up some holes in the running game? They stunk. I mean, the running game stunk. It was non-existent in that first matchup in week 4. Wasn't there. 15 yards, 5 carries, 15 yards, 18 yards, whatever the heck it was. That was your leading rusher, Aaron Jones, on a pitch count, snap count. Can this offensive line somehow open up some holes and get that running game going? With no Aaron Jones in this game, with A.J. Dillon being the lead back, Patrick Taylor coming back to the ball club. I look at this as a Matt LaFleur game. Let's show off your creative skills on the offensive side of things. We kind of saw it a little bit with the Chargers. Jaden Reed, right, was leading rusher there for a bit. Getting him the ball, and letting him make some moves, getting the ball into your playmakers' hands. This might be another game for a Jane Reed type of performance. But I look at this as like, okay, Matty LaFleur, you want to showcase or display your offensive game planning or your play calling skills. These are the types of games that we need to see it. When you don't have Aaron Jones, you've got an offensive line that has been up and down. You've got some younger receivers, but we're starting to see some growth. We're starting to see some consistency. Now your tight end's probably going to be gone, but your quarterback maybe playing a little bit better here too. This is a game where I think a lot of the offensive pressure is on the play caller, and in this instance, the head coach, Matt LaFleur, too. What can he come up with? What kind of game plan can he put together to help his offense move the ball, come away with some tuds instead of just getting into a field goal game? So I'm looking at this as a big opportunity for Matt LaFleur. It's a big game for Matt LaFleur, too. But you can look at Jordan Love, too, and there's no doubt about it. With no Aaron Jones in this game, and obviously an easy pick is going to be, A.J. Dillon's got to get going and be a focal part. Absolutely, right? I mean, that's an easy one. But if Green Bay is not having success running the football, that does put more on the shoulders of Jordan Love to make some plays. And he's got to, those younger guys, those younger receivers need to step up and help him out too. They need to go out there and make sure that they're giving him every chance to succeed out there. Can he come back after having a pretty solid day on Sunday? Can he start to stack that success? Can he start to consistently put together some darn good performances in a row? Not just, a couple here in a row and then, you got a few downers and then he comes back. We got to see it week in and week out. And this is going to be a tough task going up against this defense. But there is definitely more on the shoulders and on the arm of Jordan Love in this game. We went through it. If there is a weakness on this Detroit defense, you might just be able to expose them a little bit in the passing game. Because when you look at it, Detroit is about midway through. And again, don't necessarily look at stats and rankings and statistics and think they're the tell-all. They're just a part of this, equation here. But they give up, or I should say allow 223.5 yards through the air. And again, the thing is too, these numbers don't tell everything because they're skewed. They're an 8-2 team. A lot of teams probably playing a little catch-up, trying to get back in the game and such, right? So you got to factor that stuff into it. But this is a potentially a huge moment, a huge game for Jordan Love in this instance. Can he lead his ball club to an improbable victory, shorthanded? And then you've got the Packers defense going up against this offense. Can they rise to the challenge of slowing down this Lions offense? A Lions offense that is second in the league in terms of total yards per game. Only Miami is above them. No surprise. They are a top 5 team in passing and a top 5 team in rushing yards on the ground. Top 10, just outside the top 5 in terms of points per game. Putting up 27.2 per game. Can this Packers defense and Joe Barry, defensive coordinator, slow down Ben Johnson in this group? I don't think it's that much of a bold prediction to say. There's probably not a lot of Packers fans who have a lot of hope in that. Will Jair Alexander play in this game? We don't know. If I had to wager a guess, my gut says I think he does. I think he plays in this game just because of the fact that he practiced a couple times last week, didn't play in that game. You kind of wonder, like, short week, making sure he's ready against Detroit, possibly. And let's face it, if Jair Alexander is out there, I mean, that's a big boost. The corners, and I don't want to take away anything from Valentine and Valentine. They've been holding their own. Corey, I think, was one of the top 5 Packers defenders ranked by Pro Football Focus in that last game. I don't want to take away anything from those guys. They've been holding their own over there. But when you're going up against St. Brown or even, Jamison Williams, I know hasn't been putting up a ton of yards here. In fact, he's only gotten 10 catches so far on 20 targets. But, St. Brown, one of the better wide receivers in the league, you'd like Jair out there, right? Yeah, you'd kind of like him out there for sure. But what should be the game? Do you want to see? I think Green Bay's got to be aggressive going after Jared Goff. He has shown that he can be a turnover machine. I mean, he threw 3 picks against Chicago last week. Detroit come from behind victory, got that W. I think if it were me, and again, you might be exposing it for some potential big plays. But if it's me, I am trying to, one, confuse the heck out of Jared Goff. You're really trying to confuse him with some pre-looks. Maybe, you're lined up defensively. You're indicating something, but once that ball is snapped, it's something different. You're confusing him. Also, being aggressive, getting after him. These pass rushers of Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, the line with Kenny Clark, they have got to collapse that pocket. They have got to collapse that pocket, and they have got to get after him. Because if you can get after him and you can rattle him a little bit and you can get him to maybe see some ghosts and such, you have a chance. You have a chance to really, maybe kind of slow down that offense or limit them, might be the best way to put it. But they got to get after Goff. But the big thing here, too, is can they stop the run? That, to me, is a big question mark in this game. I have no idea if Green Bay can go in there and stop the run. They have been so inconsistent with this thing. I have no idea. No idea. They couldn't in week 4 against Detroit. And if I'm Detroit right now, I'm going in there with the mindset of like, stop us on the ground. Stop us on the ground. Prove that you can stop us. I've got no good indication. I've got no kind of idea if they can go in there and do it because Green Bay has been so all over the board in stopping the run. And when you kind of look at it, it's like, oh, maybe quality of opponents and that sort of thing. Steelers, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't. When you looked at the Chargers, hey, they did a decent job of stopping Austin Eckler, but Austin Eckler, he rushed for 100 yards only once, and that was in week 1. Justin Herbert was their leading rusher. They couldn't stop the quarterback. 8 carries for 73 yards in that game. But they did hold Eckler to 64 yards. But again, the average, he only ran the ball 10 times. I mean, at 6.4 average, that's pretty darn good. So we didn't really get a great gauge against the Chargers one. So I don't know if Green Bay can go in there and slow down that running attack from Detroit. And if I'm Johnson, the offensive coordinator, I'm like, let's run the ball until They can prove that they can consistently stop this thing. Run it, run it, run it. Jared Goff, one of the better play action quarterbacks in the league. That's where he's successful. So if Detroit can get that running game going and they're having success with it, watch out for the play action game from Detroit. Watch out for St. Brown going over the middle. Sam Laporta, the rookie tight end. You know, those guys. Reynolds is having a nice season for Detroit too. They have got to stop that run. It starts up front for both sides of this thing. Green Bay, offensive line, has to be better. Has to perform at a high level. Has to be really good. You've got Detroit. Their offensive line, they're one of the better units, if not the best for some people, in the entire league. Can Green Bay dominate up front? Can that defensive line, can that front four, front seven collapse a pocket, collapse the gaps, slow down that running game? It is a tough task. But I'll tell you what, I've got a bold prediction here. No, I'm not picking Green Bay to win this game. But I honestly feel like if Green Bay wins either tomorrow or Sunday, the following Sunday against Kansas City, if they win one of those games, my bold prediction is I think Green Bay does get to the postseason. I know it's nuts, it's crazy talk and all that. But I think if they steal one of these games, and right now I'll tell you, I don't think they steal one of these two games. But if somehow they surprise us and beat Detroit or beat Kansas City, I think they can go to the Giants and win. I think they can beat Tampa Bay at home. I think they can go to Carolina and win. That Minnesota game makes me nervous, though. I will admit that. And then a potential game at or it's not a potential game, but a game at Lambeau Field to wrap it up against the Bears with potential of maybe going to the postseason. My bold prediction, I think if they win one of these next two against Detroit or Kansas City, I think they get in. But the biggest one is tomorrow. If you had to pick between which one is more important, it's tomorrow. Not just because it's a division one, it's conference. Because if you look at the tie-breaking scenarios right now, that's why Green Bay is the first team out. When you look at the seedings right now, Green Bay is the eighth seed in the NFC. They win the tiebreaker over Atlanta and the Rams based on best win percentage in conference games. Because you have Green Bay, LA, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, all tied up at 4 and 6 right now. Green Bay has that edge because of the conference win percentage. So that's why tomorrow's game, if you had to pick which one to really hope for Green Bay to win, if we're hoping Green Bay gets to the postseason, maybe gets a spot in there. If there's one that's a little bit more important, it's tomorrow's game because of the conference records, because of conference points. But that's my bold prediction. I think if they get it done, if they win one of these, I think they squeeze in. And I know some fans aren't going to want that. They ain't going to want that. They going to want a better draft position, right? They're going to want a top 10 pick. It is what it is at this point. I'm still of the mindset right now. I just want to see this team continue to get better. I want these young guys continue to grow. I want them to continue to stack success, get better week in and week out. And if that leads to this team somehow getting a postseason spot, cool, thumbs up. If they fall a little bit short, but you can tell there's something to build upon for next year, or you're feeling a little bit good, okay, cool. If they absolutely tank in these final 7 games and it looks bad, oh boy, Then what? Hopefully we don't have to get to that point yet. Does anybody on a scale of 1 to 10 have any confidence, though, they can go into Detroit tomorrow and pick up that W? My scale of 1 to 10, I'm at about a 4, 3, 4. I look at to me, it's going to start up front for both these sides, and I think that offensive line play from Detroit is going to be the difference maker in this thing. And even Detroit's front taking advantage of the Packers' offensive line there a little bit. I think that's going to be the difference in this. Green Bay's got to get some turnovers, but not only get some turnovers, they got to capitalize on those turnovers, right? I mean, they got to capitalize on that. You get a turnover, you better get a touchdown. And get off the field on third downs. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the first hour here after these few words. Best of luck yet to everybody who's still going to be heading out to the woods for the rest of the hunting season. I'm hopefully heading out after the game tomorrow and Friday and this weekend and such. But if you've had any luck, don't forget to send over your photos to us so we can put them up on the Tilden Gun trophy gallery, right on our website, sportstalk1051.com. So send those on over to us. I know I got to add a couple of them up there. So, and again, it could just be maybe it's a photo of you and your family or your group, or maybe you got a deer. Doesn't matter how big it is, but if you want to show it to us and share the story with us, please do so. And then we'll put it up on the Tilden Gun Trophy Gallery on our website, sportstalk1051.com, on that outdoors tab. And again, quick reminder, if you're looking for somewhere, not sure where to take your deer for a little venison processing, maybe you want to get some summer sausage made, some hot dogs, snack sticks, or just regular tenderloin steaks, whatever the case may be, go visit our good friends Mike's Star Market here in Eau Claire, on the west side of Eau Claire. You can check out their Facebook page for some prices and kind of some of the just some of the info. If you bring your deer in over there, bacon, maybe you want to get some bacon made and all that good stuff too. So hours for the rest of this week, for today, they're going to be open till 6, closed tomorrow, but back open Friday 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 3. But again, you can check out Mike's Star Market on their Facebook page for all their deer venison processing info. So, all right, we got about 9 minutes to the top of the hour. Don't forget, you want to get your stock reports in, whose stock is rising and whose stock is falling. You can text us on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, 715-830-1912. We're going to get to some hoops talk coming up next hour. Huge game tonight with the Bucks visiting the Celtics. You can catch that game at 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Also, Badger basketball in action tonight too. Marquette coming off of a huge win last night against number 1 Kansas, 73-59. Marquette remaining undefeated on the season, 5-0, the 4th-ranked Golden Eagles over there. So we got plenty of hoops talk coming up in the next hour or so as well. So we'll get to those in just a little bit. We'll continue to get your keys to victory, your thoughts, your picks, not only for the Packers game tomorrow against the Lions, but if you want to throw in a pick for Badgers, Gophers, Battle the Axe, you can do so as well, since this will be the last time we're on the air until on Monday when we're back after the holiday break there. But if you want to give us your picks for that too, please do so. All right, let us know. Okay, let's catch up on some texts that we got going on there on the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. G-Man. G-Man, I'm trying to decipher some of the stuff here. Bucks will win tonight, and Bucky will win, and the Pack will win 24-20. And that was awesome what you and your coworkers did at High V yesterday. We'll appreciate that, G-Man. Thanks for stopping by. P.S. You will get that 10-point buck. Better, man. Game plan would be for the Pack to win the turnover battle. And the Badgers will win against JR's Minnesota Gophers 27-14. JR, you're a Gopher fan too. Come on, man. Come on. More important than the Packer game is the huge NBA game tonight, Bucks versus Celtics. Who do you got? I'm going to roll with the Celtics tonight on my pick. So, Packers, this is from Josh. They need to create turnovers, third down stops. We've got Dave. Only ask, should soccer players cut their arms off since they can't use them? Only ask a question because I seen a corner kick header game-winning field goal on ESPN. Well, if that requires anybody to play soccer, they might not want to do that then. But happy Thanksgiving to you too, Dave, over there too. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody else out there that may be listening to us this morning. Eric with a quick message too. The key to victory for the Packers, you kind of already hit it, is going to be up in the trenches. Can that offensive line for the Packers protect Jordan Love and create some holes for the for the running game with no Aaron Jones. It's going to be incredibly tough. And a lot of that pressure for this game is going to rely on the young shoulders of Jordan Love. On the flip side, can the Packers defense stop the run at all in this game? Can their front seven win their matchups against this offensive line from the Detroit Lions, one of the best offensive lines in the entire league? Another message coming through here too. I don't think the Packers will win this game, but I agree with you on your bold prediction. I feel like if they could either win tomorrow or that game against Kansas City, I think there is a good shot that they can sneak into the postseason. I was playing around with the playoff machine yesterday, like you mentioned, and I picked all the games, and they ended up with the 7th seed. Yeah, you could do that. If anybody's wondering if you want to play around with that playoff machine, it's up and rolling on the mothership, ESPN.com over there. If you kind of want to make some picks and see how it all plays out. I had. No, yeah, because there's so many different ones. I mean, it depends on if you pick Detroit, if you picked Green Bay beating Detroit or Kansas City. There was one. I did it a few different ways. I actually got it to a point, and it's not. I didn't pick Green Bay to win every single game, but I actually got it to where Green Bay was actually a 6th seed with a 9-8 record. I think it was. Was it 9-8? I think so. I don't know. I did it at 4:00 yesterday morning. So, but yeah, you could have some fun doing that on the website if you want, on ESPN.com over there. So, a couple more messages on the social media side. We'll get to those a little bit later on because we've got Morgs in. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. You get a big deer yet? That face. That face. That beautiful face. That says no, right?
I got a turducken yesterday. How about that?
Are you doing it?
Yeah.
For the first year, or you've done it before?
I've never done it.
Okay. So everybody knows what that is, or explain. It's turkey with a duck shoved inside.
And a chicken.
And a chicken.
Can we just rename it the Madden Special?
Oh, yeah? Why? I don't know that story.
Oh, I mean, that's John Madden. That's
Is
when
it?
you watch football. That's how that's how everybody, or I should say everybody, but that's how a lot of
Okay.
growing up and watching football, he had turducken.
Okay, so the turducken. So this is tradition year 1 for you guys in a turducken.
Not having it for Thanksgiving.
Who's making it? You, or are you putting it to?
Instructions are on the box.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're not going rogue. You're not
No.
going to try to you should, call it the, Dan Kasper or something like that. Put your own little flair on it. Cook it in a can of beer.
It's like Tim the Toolman Taylor when he,
I'm
makes
telling
like salmon or swordfish in the dishwasher.
Yep. Try it. Do it. See what happens. Because we're going to all want to know,
Oh yeah.
We'll see what happens after that.
I'm pumped.
Or you could do a turducken and put some venison in there too. Throw it that way. I'm just thinking of options for you to put your stamp on it. You like things monikered. You can have it. You can even get it its own logo. There you go. Add it to your lineup.
That's not a bad one. Right there.
We're here.
Yeah.
Well, if we're around the table and the turducken doesn't turn out, we're going to go quick hit style. Apparently, there was a poll about Thanksgiving foods, and you guys play along too. If you're doing these either ors, I'll let you know if you're with the majority or the minority on your pick. We're going to go right down the menu, okay? Turkey or gravy?
Gravy.
Oh, 35% minority. Cranberry sauce or stuffing?
Stuffing.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
That's an easy answer. 70% of people said they're definitely going stuffing on that. Pumpkin pie or apple pie?
Pumpkin.
Really?
Yep.
45%, less than half. You're in the minority there, bud.
I'm a traditionalist.
Dessert table has carrot cake or pecan pie?
Oh, do I have to pick one?
Yes.
Because, then I guess I'm stuck with carrot cake because I'm allergic to pecans and
Well,
nuts,
you know what? 63% of people said carrot cake.
Right.
I don't know why.
I didn't know
who
that
these
was
people
a
are.
Thanksgiving. I knew pecan ones, but yeah.
Cornbread or dinner rolls?
Cornbread.
Really? 31%. Everybody else, almost 70% of people saying dinner rolls. Okay, my favorite, potatoes. But do you go mashed potatoes or roasted sweet potatoes?
Mashed.
Yeah, you do. 78%. My sister does it like old style, like she's like using the blender, kind of like stabbing them that way. Homemade. Yep. They're the best. Salad or green beans?
What kind of salad? Are we talking like a garden salad? Caesar salad? Oh, yeah. Caesar salad.
Okay.
Yeah,
47%. So you're in the minority.
Yeah.
You have a pretty much minority plate here so far. And this one, I can't even imagine. This is like the most unfair bracket system ever set up. Mac and cheese or green bean casserole? Why are you waiting? There should be no delay. The silence concerns me.
See, I'm a traditionalist, though. I would probably go mac and cheese, but I could see myself going with the green bean casserole if it's on Thanksgiving.
28%, dude.
Well,
28%. Are you a French onion guy on top, or what do you put on top of
Oh,
your?
yeah.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I like to pick those off, but at that point,
Oh, jeez.
I just like to take the crunchy little things off the top.
No.
That's the best part.
No.
It is. I'm telling you.
All right, Morgs. Have a
Hey,
good Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
You got it. All right, quick break. We'll be back. All right, second hour kicking off on this Wednesday morning before Thanksgiving. Appreciate you tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in from. Coming up just a little bit, we'll talk some hoops. Big game tonight for the Bucks as they take on the Boston Celtics. First time these two teams will match up. Obviously, probably, maybe, potentially a early preview of Eastern Conference Finals matchup there. So a lot of eyes will be on that game tonight. We'll hit that up. Marquette had the big win last night against Kansas in a 4-1 matchup. Marquette taking down the number one team in the country. And then Badger basketball also in action tonight as well. So we'll talk some hoops. We'll get back to some more football talk as well as the Packers get set to take on the Lions tomorrow on a Thanksgiving slate of games over there. So let's do some sports nuggets of the day though to kick off this hour, presented by Ansay Associates. Coming 1910, Arthur F. Knight patented a steel shaft to replace wood shafts in golf clubs. There you go. The NHL in 1917 was officially formed in Montreal, Canada. 1950, the lowest scoring game in the NBA was played. The Fort Wayne Pistons, later known as the Detroit Pistons, defeated the Minneapolis Lakers 19-18. 1986, Mike Tyson became the youngest to win the world heavyweight boxing crown. He was only 20 years and 4 months old. 2003, in Edmonton, Alberta, the Montreal Canadiens beat the Edmonton Oilers 4-3 in the first NHL game to be played outside. 2006, Tiger Woods won his 7th straight PGA Slam, the PGA Slam tournament that ended, I think it was 2014. By the way, Tiger's coming back. Was it the Hero Challenge coming up at the end of the month there too? So you're going to see some Tiger Woods playing a little golf here in a couple weeks. 2016, it was announced that the NHL expansion team in Las Vegas would be named the Vegas Golden Knights. Those are just some of your sports nuggets for this Wednesday morning, brought to you by Ansay Associates. Coming up in about an hour from now, we'll also do some stock reports. You guys can play along with us if you'd like. Whose stock is rising and whose stock is falling. Hit us up with a text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Big thanks also to everybody who, for yesterday, maybe stopped by. We even had some people donating turkeys. G-Man, Mark, shout out to you guys for your donations yesterday. But big thanks for everybody in Hy-Vee partnering with us for our turkey donation yesterday. Had a lot of fun hanging out and seeing a bunch of people and talk with a bunch of people. And it was good to hand out some of those turkeys to help make Thanksgiving maybe a little bit more special for a lot of people in our community. So a big thank you to all of you, because we couldn't do that either if you weren't donating your turkeys, whether it was a part of the buy a ham, donate a turkey promo with Hy-Vee, or you just wanted to donate a turkey. The kindness of your hearts. Big thanks to all of you, because we weren't able to do that yesterday if it wasn't for all of your help over there too. So big thanks for everything yesterday from Hy-Vee. Let's talk some. We'll get back to some more of your Packer picks and analysis and all that good stuff coming up here in just a little bit. But let's talk some hoops with the Bucks taking on the Boston Celtics tonight. Big game tonight. Hudson, we're going to watch that game tonight? Shoulder shrug? Okay, I think we'll probably listen to that game or watch it there too. So, but the Bucks taking on the Celtics in game one of their 3-game series. I should say 3-game series, but they play each other 3 times this season. So game one of this is tonight. Obviously, before the whole holiday getting traded to Boston, it was already going to be a marquee game. But now the fact that Drew Holiday is a member of the Celtics, a lot of eyes, a lot of attention on this game. The Bucks coming in with a 10-4 record. Boston sitting there at 11-3. Tip-off for this game is going to be at 6:30. Boston is the number 1 team in the East. And because of the 76ers losing last night, the Bucks and the 76ers tied up 10-4. Bucks holding on to the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. So the 1 seed in the early parts of this season up for grabs between the Bucks and the Celtics over there. So you pumped for the game, man? Yeah, he is. He is. So let's we got we'll bring in Luke. His Timberwolves. His Timberwolves are already in first place in the Western Conference, holding on to a half-game lead over the Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have won 5 in a row as well, 7-3 in their last 10. Not to be all Oklahoma City Thunder, that team's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the next few years with all of their first-round draft picks that they got coming into.
That between them and Chet and SGA and oh my gosh,
yeah, they've got 2 really good young players in Alexander. Holmgren's already playing above what I expected, my expectations from him, and then I can't think of another team that's had so many first-round picks coming to them in the next few years.
Now, will they use all those, or are they going to use that for ammunition?
No way.
That's the thing. Yeah. What are they going to do with that? That's the fascinating thing. I don't know the answer, but OKC got good fast.
I would buy some stock in OKC for the next few years right now.
They're
future stocks.
Right. I mean, if you look at the top 3 in the West right now, between Minnesota, Denver, OKC, there's a case to be made all 3 could stay good for a while. I think the Thunder probably have the longest likelihood of staying good, presuming that Shea or Chet don't suddenly decide that, I want to go to LA or Miami. Well, okay. I mean, that's always a possibility if you're not LA or Miami, Oklahoma City, of course. But what we just said, I'd say they have the highest upside. Minnesota's could potentially run into salary issues at some point, but Anthony Edwards is going to get that team again, unless he wants to go to Miami or Los Angeles. He's going to keep that team competitive for a while. Denver, Jokic is. I keep hearing this, he might just walk away at some point. He might be like, you know what, I'm good. I've won 3 titles at some point, 5 years from now, and he just goes away and does.
Yeah, he could definitely be one of those guys that retires early. No doubt about it. I can see that. I don't think he will, but I could see him being one of those guys.
And if he sticks around, he's going to be good for a long time. So we might want to get used to Timberwolves, Nuggets, Thunder, some other teams, of course, as well, looming around the top of the Western Conference. Tonight's games, Celtics Bucks is great. Sixers Timberwolves could be I can't believe I'm saying this. That could be an NBA Finals preview. What? But it could be. These are 2 great games. Celtics Bucks.
Miami Cleveland you got on the bracket too.
My gosh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Who's your pick for tonight at the Garden?
I'm going Boston.
Yeah.
I'm picking Boston.
I think so too.
I know Hutz. I'm sorry, dude. He just gave me a weird look. So, sorry.
Doesn't he think the Lakers should be like
he's on. Remember, he's kind of off that bandwagon. Remember, we had that discussion.
That's right. That's right.
Don't stare at me like that, bro. Come on, dude.
Just make sure he doesn't do the latest LeBron celebration. It's little adult right now.
Yeah, little. You got Lakers and Dallas tonight too, so that should be a good one.
Yes, that another one. I am old enough to remember when the Bucks were in crisis mode and Adrian Griffin was going to be fired in about 5 minutes, and the Bucks were a complete disaster, and Giannis was going to ask out next summer. Right? Blah blah blah. Hey, what happened? They're 10-4 now. They're good. Again, what?
Until they get dominated by Boston tonight.
Well, yeah, and of course it'll be the overreaction.
You know what's going to happen? Drew Holiday is going to explode probably.
Oh gosh,
he's going to have an amazing game.
Drew shuts down Dame.
Yep.
And I don't know. That's not necessarily the matchup, but if that happened, well,
it probably would be mostly.
Probably. I mean, based on their size and everything, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. It's one game. I do wish. Also, the way the schedule worked out, Celtics and 76ers, they don't play again pretty much till if they play in the playoffs, they're already done.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
It does suck.
But okay, so is this just Giannis taking over the past couple weeks or so, and as the Bucks have turned this around? It seems like a lot of it. I don't think this was a matter of Giannis reading tweets and going, well, I'm going to start scoring 45 a night and we're going to win. But it sure seems like he's gone into a little bit of FU mode, for lack of a better term.
He's taking over right now. He's DJ Khaled right now, and we taking over. So
that's the second time I've thought of DJ Khaled in this discussion after I said another one.
Mm-hmm. Before, really quick, I don't mean to go back to the Thunder here, but since you brought up coach, can we say Mark Daigneault is one of the best coaches in the NBA too?
Mm-hmm.
Coach for the Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always have that discussion, right? When it comes to the NBA coaches, tier ones and that, and Miami with Eric over there, and then all these talks about that. You got an incredibly young team here. This dude is doing a fantastic job.
You're going to get more credit for the age of the folks where you can't really rely on the veteran leadership. I mean, if you're looking for people who've been like in their upper 20s on that team, good luck finding names. They're not there on that team. Your stars are, again, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren. It's a lot of the folks
Who's going to have the better career right now? Make a futures pick. Chet, Victor.
Webby versus Chet Holmgren.
Is this the next Magic versus Bird?
Remember seeing ESPN had that graphic where they're like looking at each other from like 3 weeks ago, kind of saying like these are the top two rookies. Like, that would be cool.
By the way, should Chet be a Rookie of the Year candidate, even though he missed all last year, but he was in a pro? I know that's a debate sort of thing there too. There's a lot of people that don't like that because technically he was in the association for a year.
It's true, but he didn't play.
But he got a lot of growth. Got some experience.
Yeah, I guess. But, well, I mean, okay, if I really wanted to go far with this, you could look at 79-80 and say, well, the Celtics drafted Bird, and then he played a whole season back in college because they held his rights. So should he have been even in the consideration then? Well, I mean, yes, he should. It's not great, but, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? Like, it's his first year playing. This kind of reminds me of Rookie of the Year for like Ichiro Suzuki or any of the players that come over from Japan, basically, who have been good over there and then come here, well, because it's their first season. Those, I'm not as keen on those because they've been playing professionally, even if it's Major League Baseball is the premier baseball league in the world. That it just is because that's where the bulk of the talent is located. So I get that. It's a relative thing. I don't like that. But then, I mean, again, how are you going to parse it the other way? So Yamamoto's probably going to be Rookie of the Year next year. I mean, could we put down a bet on that right now? That if he signs with the Mets or the Yankees or whomever gets his bidding rights, which is apparently happening right now, Yamamoto is going to be Rookie of the Year next year as a pitcher, even though he has experience in Japan. That's just how it's going to go.
Reminds me so much of the Dice K. Remember Dice K?
Oh, gosh.
With Boston.
Gyro Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get ready to hear a lot of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. A lot of that. And again, probably in New York. One of those teams. I in terms of futures on Wembanyama or Holmgren,
I'd go Wembanyama.
Yeah, there's so much potential there.
But I got to give Chet credit. He's definitely. I didn't know what to expect from him, but he's playing pretty solid this year. So I'll give him a lot of credit. Dropping 36 against the Warriors is pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm totally in your boat on this too. Like, yeah, I want them to be competitive going forward. I'd love to see. I mean, as much as I want my Wolves to always be in the Western Conference Finals, I would not mind seeing a Spurs Thunder Western Conference Finals. Give it about 3 years. Give the Spurs time to get better. They're not good right now. Give them time to get better, and sure, we're going to have there is a lot of reasons to be optimistic for Western Conference NBA basketball right now. Everything that's between that, the Anthony Edwards praise. I keep shaking my head when I hear people talking about like, oh, what was it on the? It was on the Rosillo podcast, and they had Chris Mannix, from used to be at Sports Illustrated. And the question was, who would you take above Ant right now? Is it like 3 players? Is it 5? And I'm driving around shaking my head like, what? you're putting him at the top. And they're like, now maybe we'd put Giannis above him, possibly Jokic for sure. Like, and this is matter of fact. This isn't even all a breakout thing. It's like everyone has accepted that he's one of the absolute top players in the game. This is, again, reminding me of Giannis circa 2018 of like, do we know who we're watching here? And all the people who know have accepted it. And those of us who are casual fans have to come around to accepting it as well. Edwards, Holmgren, Wembanyama, SGA. Oh my gosh. Lucas still. Oh, the West is great right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we just skipped past everything with the Bucks and the Celtics and the Sixers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of good to watch right now in the NBA. Are you any more into the in-season tournament?
No. I could give a rip about that right now at this point. Maybe if it gets to that point where it's like, okay, it's like the early rounds of this, which I don't really care about. It's not making me want to watch it more. I really don't care. Maybe once they get closer to, championship, that, yeah, sure. But as for me, as a fan, no, it doesn't do it. It doesn't move the needle for me.
I felt it's gotten quieter, but that's also because it's the round robin part. My understanding, though, is when they go to Vegas, everyone will know the NBA is going to make this a very big deal. Whether you like it or you're sick of it, you will know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, December 7th, December 9th, right around that period. So I'm kind of holding out for that as well. I'll wait and see how they treat this and how much glitz they give this in Vegas.
All right. Let's take a quick break. And then I want to talk a little football, but I don't know if anybody's watched it yet or has started to watch it or will plan on watching it. The Barry Sanders documentary.
Is that on NFL Network?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's on Amazon right now. The Amazon's new documentary. But Barry explains why he decided to retire at the prime of his career. It's always kind of at the top of the list of what if, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if? Maybe one of the best to never win. Well, since, it's Thanksgiving and part of Thanksgiving tradition is watching the Lions play, I want to go through some of the quotes that Barry. So I'm going to ruin the documentary for a lot of people. So I haven't watched it yet either, but I'm still planning on watching it. So
you're going to ruin it without watching it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So if you don't want to watch, or if you want to watch it, but you don't want to ruin it, go earmuffs it. Okay. Earmuff it here for a little bit, but we'll take a quick break and be back here in just a couple minutes. Don't forget to get your picks in for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge up on our website over there, sportstalk1051.com. Got 3 games coming up tomorrow. So with this week, I know a lot of people kind of forget about it and kind of lose track of time with everything going on. So it's a tight race at the top there. Make sure you get those picks turned in. All right. How many of us probably remember growing up watching Barry Sanders on the field on Thanksgiving Day games tomorrow? I'm really kind of I want to watch this documentary that's on Amazon. One of my best friend Jake is a huge Barry Sanders fan. I swear to God, he wore his Barry Sanders jersey every day in elementary school. But and then ended up being a really good running back and played college football for a little bit running back. But a lot of the questions have been why did Barry quit or retire, right? Because do you feel like, Luke, Barry would have the rushing record if he would have played a few more years?
Yeah,
That it wouldn't be Emmett, that it would be Barry?
probably so.
I agree.
And he was playing at that. I mean, of course, here's your regular asterisk in case he got injured, torn ACL. Fine, could happen to anyone. If he holds up, his body declines at a normal rate, he has the record.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So, earmuff it really quick. This is what he said. For me, just that thing that drove me to play, which is that passion, just wasn't there. There was nothing really left to play for. I didn't see us, the Lions, as any kind of serious Super Bowl contender. I felt like I was making a pretty clear decision. I just felt like, in my mind, that is pretty much it, which is kind of similar to what he's kind of said in the past there. But I would really be curious to know, and I'll be honest with you, because I haven't watched this yet. Maybe it's addressed in there. Would he have been open to playing elsewhere?
Because my first thought when he said, "Yeah, we're not going anywhere, so I'm retiring." Well, nowadays that's demanding a trade,
right?
It's what, but maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he's like, "Look, I'm playing for one team. I'm not going to learn a new system." All of that happens, and then he does it today as well. That can happen. It's just we've seen more high. I think we've had more high-profile examples of players going, "Screw all of this. I'm going out publicly saying I'm leaving." So I don't know that he would have today demanded a trade. Of course, there's also more leaks and such. No, we were in the internet era back then. This isn't ancient time. But there are more opportunities for stuff to come out. So maybe or so during his weekly Wednesday hit on the Pat McAfee show, does he drop some insinuation? Is that what we're dealing with now? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think he would have asked to go elsewhere. But given Calvin Johnson, a Detroit Lion who played really well through a lot of losing teams, decided to walk away, and that was a lot more recent than Barry Sanders, I think it's possible Sanders does the same thing in 2023.
So I saw some more quotes here. I really want to watch this now because apparently Scott Mitchell went off after watching this.
Really?
So this is what he apparently posted on Facebook. I'm not going to read the first part. He said, "However, I am so tired of hearing how I was the reason that Barry Sanders never won a Super Bowl. I'm so tired of hearing how I was not a good quarterback. My only response is F you, all in caps. That includes Eminem and Jeff Daniels."
Wow, cool.
So Eminem and Jeff Daniels, Detroit people, Lions fans in there. But they were
far
all
more successful with their careers.
Yeah, they were featured in a documentary, and apparently kind of throughout, that Scott Mitchell was reason. Apparently even Wayne Fontes. Remember Wayne Fontes, the head coach?
Rasputin.
Yeah, also kind of blamed Scott Mitchell, apparently, because Scott Mitchell said, "I can't even begin to tell you what a disappointment it is to hear my own coach, Wayne Fontes, who went out in free agency and actively pursued me to the point of begging me to come to Detroit, say that he wanted Joe Montana or Warren Moon, and that the only thing that was missing from the team winning a Super Bowl was a quarterback. A little support from the coach might have gone a long way. Wayne never had my back." So,
well, thank you.
Stop picking on Scott Mitchell, everybody.
Well, thank you, Scott, for inserting yourself into the discussion here.
Here's you want it ready? Here we go.
Let's go.
In this, everything was built for Barry to succeed, Mitchell said. In his 10-year career, he won one playoff game, and the only reason he didn't win more was everyone else was the problem, ? How many yards did Barry have in the playoffs in 94, 95, and 97? I'll give you a hint. Not very many. We are all to blame for not winning a Super Bowl in Detroit. Even Barry Sanders. I will believe until I die that had we been given more time and patience with the offense we had and the talent we had, we could have made a deep run in the playoffs and competed to win a Super Bowl.
See, my memory of Scott Mitchell was as one of, in fact, he might have been because this would have been right after free agency, maybe the first high-profile free agent quarterback signing that turned out to be a dud. That is my enduring memory of Scott Mitchell, because he started pretty well for the Dolphins when, filling in for Dan Marino. Yeah, because Marino had the injury in 93, parlayed that into the contract, went 4-5, 10-6, 4-10, 9-7, not much in 98. His quarterback rating in 1994 was a 62. Great. I know ratings were not as good back then, and now you could probably go into a game and get a 158.3 if everything works out just right. That's how the game is changed. Like, any of us probably could get higher than we would in 1994. But still, a 62 sucks for a free agent.
I would counter Scott Mitchell's. I've got Barry's game logs up for his playoff. So Barry played in 6 postseason games. He rushed over 100 yards in just one of those games, and they still lost that one. That was the Green Bay Favre to Sharp game. He actually rushed the ball for 169 yards. Then the 94 one was the very famous Barry held to -1 against Green Bay. My thing is here too is if you were playing Detroit and you're a defensive coordinator, what were you probably focused on? Probably stopping Barry Sanders or slowing him down, right?
That was the 94 wild card game. Do you remember watching that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was gobsmacked by this. This is like probably about my peak like anti-Packerdom, because of course I'm a teenager at that point. So I'm just like, Packers lose it. And I remember being so frustrated at that game because I figured, Sanders is going to run all over them. Like, what's happening? -1? Yeah, the Packers shut him down. What else were the Lions really going to do to win that game? It was Barry Sanders who was going to win the game. So, of course, the Packers are going to be, and the Packers were plenty good in 94, of course. But Sanders was the way the Lions were going to beat him. The Packers had that was the Fritz Shermer era. Of course, they were going to figure out a way to shut him down, and they did.
Right.
There you go.
So, Scott, maybe step it up a little bit. And then 95, when they lost to Philly, this was your score. 58-37.
I remember that one, too. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't run the ball a whole lot.
No.
10 times in that game. And then his final playoff game was against Tampa and that defense. They lost 20-10, 18 carries for 65 yards. So there's a little bit more than box score scouting there. Scotty too hotty. I think it's funny that Scott Mitchell just went off on Facebook. And he calls out Jeff Daniels. I love Jeff Daniels.
But
fantastic actor.
Wow. And Eminem.
Yeah.
That was let's work on the shout outs here, Scott. Okay.
I gotta watch this. I want to see everybody just rip on. Let's get a 30 for 30 on Scott Mitchell now.
Now that'd be a 30 for 30 short.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough for a full, but we got enough for one of those mini docs.
I mean, so his best year in Detroit had to have been 95, 32 touchdowns, 12 picks. Yeah, that was about it. I mean, maybe complain a little bit more. He had Herman Moore for a hot minute, didn't he? Wide receiver. Trying to think of some other receiving weapons he
Herman's
had.
Moore. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. Barry. Okay.
The thing is, when going through all those wild card games, and of course, the Favre Hail Mary, the Lions were actually pretty decent in the early to mid 90s. I mean, they had that NFC Championship game run in 91, and I know the metrics actually said that they weren't that great of a team. That someone else probably should have been in their spot against Washington in the NFC Championship game. The point is, they got there. They were still competitive for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't like the depths of the Lions of the aughts in the 2010s. Calvin Johnson is probably quite envious of the Barry Sanders era. At least they kind of sort of had a chance. I mean, they weren't getting past Dallas or Green Bay or San Francisco at the top at that point. It was still really top heavy, but
And the one year they went to the conference championship, Washington. So
which with that 91 team was one of the better Washington teams of all, not just because
Right.
they won a Super Bowl, but that statistically that was a very good team too.
the thing that always impressed me the most about Barry wasn't the highlight runs and all that. You look at that guy, and I mean, okay, you say the name Barry Sanders, you could probably instantly just in your mind remember a run, right?
Yeah,
Whether it's
I'm
the
picturing it-
Patriots one or whatever.
I'm picturing I think I'm combining 3 runs into
Yeah.
one image in my mind right now.
The guy, you watch that now, and I'm like, how did that guy not tear up his whole knee? For some of the, especially on the turf over there. I feel like that guy should have been just tearing. The guy played in almost every single game. The 93, he played in 11 games. That was the year he got a little bit dinged up there. But other than that, 15, 16, 15, 16, 11, 16, 16, 16, 16, 16. He was on the field all the time. That guy was awesome.
Is he a unicorn?
Yes. 100%. His final year, his last year, he still rushed for almost 1,500 yards. When you're going up against the Lions, your primary focus is Barry Sanders, and he still did it. And he wasn't the size of a Jim Brown. He wasn't bulldog. He was small, but he was so quick and so elusive. He was easily, when you talk about favorite players to watch, he's top 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 just to sit out there and watch and damn, that guy is good.
He's done stuff that you don't see other players to this day do. You would think 30 odd years later with improved athleticism, improved training skills, et cetera, that other players would be able to do what he does or what he did. And I still, by and large, don't see that.
Yeah.
For
me personally, when I've watched, I think he is the best running back that I've seen personally.
Mm-hmm.
Watched in person. Best running back. We've seen combo running backs, and when I see combo, you got the Falks and the LaDainian Tomlinsons, that were very effective in the passing game too. A little bit more all around, if you will. But just from a running standpoint, to me, Barry Sanders is the best that I've watched in person. Best of all time, he's probably top 2, top 3. You throw Jim Brown in there. I throw Barry in there. You throw Walter in there.
Mm-hmm.
But man, was he so fun to watch. I hated going when Green Bay would have to go up against him. But I remember as a kid, when they held him to that -1, that was such a trash-talking moment for us all Packers fans. Yeah, we held Barry Sanders to -1 yards. That was a thing.
I still remember.
I still remember watching it. Yeah.
I remember the stat. I'm always going to remember that stat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it was so unbelievable. That doesn't happen. Yeah, he in terms of the best players I've witnessed in my life, I'm trying to parse between best in terms of most accomplished and best in terms of wild
For pure
skill.
talent, Barry Sanders was top 5 easily. I would throw him. I would throw Dion. I would throw Jordan. I would throw Tiger. All those guys in the equation. You could even probably throw Randy Moss in there if you wanted to, just from pure talent standpoint.
Right. Just whatever they could do. I agreed. And in terms of pure football in my life, so I'm going back to the mid 80s, and I know I saw the end of the Walter Payton era. So some of Payton's highlights from Payton did things too you don't see, especially holding the ball with one hand. Now I don't know if he could get away with that nowadays. That defensive players have figured out. Oh, I could just pop. But I think that had probably more to do with his hand size. I'm not sure that it would have gotten knocked out as much today. Probably a little, and he would have been trained off of it. But he still was doing stuff that you don't see today, and he was accomplished with that. I would
really quick question here. A little what if now. Okay. So career rushing yard leader we know is Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith, 18,355. Insert Barry and Emmitt. Barry gets to run behind that Cowboys line. Does Barry, 1, have the rushing record? I think we'd all agree. But 2, Is it so insurmountable like Jerry Rice's receiving record?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, understanding that there were more options, so you're gonna pass it more to the likes of Michael Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better quarterback who can take advantage of all of these options. But I think it's there.
I think it would be so high that nobody it'd be like Jerry Rice's receiving record. I don't think anybody's going to break Jerry Rice's receiving record.
Could
either.
he have had the single game rushing record? Like pushing
Probably
300 yards in a game.
Yeah, with that offensive line,
probably at some point, somewhere along the line, would have been one of those games. And we talking about. Remember when he played against the Cardinals in Phoenix back in '96?
Yep.
And Barry Sanders rushed for 330 yards. It probably would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, is part of the reason also I'm trying to think of players that do stuff that make us go, what? And again, unicorns. We've been seeing more of that in the NBA of late. I feel like maybe I'm just not thinking hard enough. So correct me on this fast if you need to. Are we seeing less of that in the NFL? And I'm getting parallels.
Oh, you're going with the Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yes. Which could go two ways. It could either be lack of skill on what his critique that players are bouncing around so much NIL and want to get their opportunity to be stars, so they don't have a chance to properly get coached, or it could go the other way that
I think we're getting so accustomed to it at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I think we've gotten to the point where like a Justin Jefferson or a Christian McCaffrey or one of those guys or whatever, we've gotten spoiled for so much talent. It's like you set the bar so high with a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, we've seen that too. We're spoiled.
I mean,
it's not there's some bad play. Let's be real. But, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn in my opinion. But I believe that it kind of gets dumbed down a little bit because we've seen some really good quarterback play for the last 20-some years.
We have. I also don't think it helps that the running back position is been devalued to the point that you don't have the opportunity for a running back to develop themselves over the course of a decade. In most cases, you move on from them real quick, and now they're a backup with the Jets. So
that's the thing. Like, you look at Barry's, 89 to 98, that's probably right now a typical running back's career.
Yeah.
And he's still fourth on the rushing record.
Right. And that typical running back's career involves multiple stops, backups, injuries, etc. If today, over the course of 10 years, if that.
He's the only top 5 career rusher with less than 10 double-digit seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really quick trivia, then we got to take a break. I want to see if anybody can get this. 2-parter, okay? Don't look it up. Who is third on the all-time rushing record? Anybody know that? We know it's Emmett, Walter, who? Barry's fourth, okay? Who's third? And give me the 2 highest active rushers right now on this list. So still playing, but who are the 2 highest currently active rushing leaders out there, okay?
Okay.
One you may get. One may surprise some people a little bit. Maybe not too much, but a little bit. So hit me up with some texts on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to wrap up the second hour after these quick words with your answers. Don't look it up. Have some fun and text in your answers to this trivia question. All right, we got some guesses out there for the two-part trivia question. Who's currently third on the all-time leading rushing list? Nobody has gotten that one right. And the second part is who are the top top two current active leaders in the rushing list? Still playing. Luke, give me an answer for the first one.
Is it Frank Gore?
You are the only one to get it correct. There you go. Frank Gore.
That's
Sitting there
right.
at number 3.
The Julio Franco of running backs.
Yes.
Is that a good comp?
16? I think that is 16,000 rushing yards for Frank Gore,
Just
number 3.
Just
on that
around
list.
long enough to accumulate the stats.
Mhm.
Never going to go in the Hall of Fame. Well, honestly, I think he's going to be like those. Well, who was the Kenny Edwards? Is the guy from the Seahawks? Took a long time to get in.
I think Frank Gore is going to get in. I don't know if it'll be right away, but eventually he will get in.
He's totally Veterans Committee.
Yeah.
But yeah, for other reasons he should. Now,
Oh boy.
the top 2 on the list who are active. They have to have been around a while. Now, by active, are we talking like
playing this year? I'm not counting like let's say, because Adrian Peterson wants to come back. No.
Okay, good.
Playing this year right now.
They're legit. Like you might actually see them in a highlight this weekend.
Right.
Okay. Oh boy, that's so tough. Is Le'Veon Bell still playing?
No.
Okay. That's the problem with the running backs now. Like I'm not sure if they're retired or not, or just no one wants them. I punt. Who is it?
I'm surprised. Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Derrick Henry is 39th on this list.
Okay.
39th. The guy above him right now is Amon Green at 38, by the way. But 42 might maybe surprise some people a little bit. You sure you don't want to try to guess?
40. Okay, so Christian McCaffrey?
No, that was a very popular pick, but no. McCaffrey is 118.
What division is this guy?
I don't want to say it. I'll say conference.
Okay.
AFC.
It's not. No. Not my choice. Bouncing Nick Chubb.
No.
No, I'm probably not even close.
This one surprised me.
All right, go for it.
Zeke Elliott.
Oh my gosh.
Ezekiel Elliott is at 8,593 rushing yards.
And that is Zeke is perilously close to Adrian Peterson territory. Sad to say, but he's getting there.
Yeah, Zeke and Derrick Henry started the same year, believe it or not, 2016.
Wow.
Those are your top 2 current active. There's only 4 more who are currently in the active runners who are in the top 100 right now. One is a legit start. Or no, 2 of the 4 are legit starters. Melvin Gordon's at 79. Nick Chubb's at 80. Latavius Murray's at 81. And Dalvin Cook is at 91. Then Joe Mixon's at 101. Joe Mixon, I counted him as top 100, but I got that one wrong. But Dalvin Cook's 91. Joe Mixon's at 101.
I'm not even sure if Dalvin Cook's going to go up the list anymore.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm saying it. Wow. Yeah, I'm a bit ashamed of myself for not figuring out Derrick Henry, but the rest, wow.
The Zeke Elliott one. So right now, so you asked Christian McCaffrey because he was like the most popular pick we had on here. He's 118. He's actually one spot above Aaron Jones right now. In fact, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, 118, 119, 120. All 3 were drafted in 2017, by the way. There's a quarterback above those guys. Cam Newton, 113.
Wow. Again, technically he's still active.
Yeah. Michael Vick is a top 100 rusher.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson's got to be starting to ascend the list.
Yeah.
That Baltimore running game looks really good, Lamar. Wow. The thing is, a lot of these guys too that are up near the top, they're all names we know, but in many cases they're like injured or barely hanging on in the league. Derrick Henry's one of the few that's not for all of them, but Derrick Henry's one of the few that's a legit star running back today. Could still power your offense.
I think he'll get to 10,000.
Yeah,
I think he will. Going back to the Frank, I feel like Frank Gore is going to get in the Hall of Fame before Seniors Committee because I'm looking at this. Of the top 16 runners all time, 2 are not in the Hall of Fame, and it's because they're not eligible yet. Every single runner from 1 through 16 is in the Hall of Fame. Number 5 is Adrian Peterson. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame, right? We would all agree he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, he will.
But you got Curtis Martin's at 6, Hall of Famer. LT, 7. Jerome Bettis, Eric Dickerson, Tony Dorsett, Jim Brown, Marshall Falk, Edrin James, Marcus Allen, Franco Harris, Thurman Thomas, your top 16. So I feel like Frank Gore's going to get in way before senior committee based off the numbers alone.
He probably should. I think that the question will be with voters, A, how many do remember him? There's going to be a lot of bigger names that are going to come up through the regular voting.
If you're a Hall of Fame voter, you should know players. You should. That should be a requisite that you should know your history.
The real question comes with the next generation that starts to go up. It's kind of the same like with baseball and the ballots are starting to come in right now. This is where that I'm trying to remember the guys at base ballot or whomever is the guy that does or Ryan Thibodeau, I think the guy that does the tracking. We're starting that season right now. That's just beginning. But that's where the younger generation doesn't seemingly care as much about like Pete Rose and eventually about Bonds, McGuire. Do they start to get more of a shot? And I know they're going to, a lot of them fall off the list. But does that start? Is it the reverse with Frank Gore? Younger football writers that start to come up, they're like, "Oh, that Frank Gore guy, I kind of remember him," and they don't care. They don't know as much. Like they know, but they don't know. And again, the problem with Gore is it's like I said, it's the Julio Franco thing. He was around a long enough time to accumulate the numbers. That's probably going to be a knock against him. There will be some writers who fully remember Frank Gore, who thought he was a great player, and they're going to say, yeah, but he was durable enough. He got enough chances. That's why he got that particular stat. I'm not voting for him for the Hall of Fame. I disagree with that. I think he should be in, but there will be voters that will say that. So I still say it's going to be like senior committee, veterans. We do one of those kind of things. I do think he eventually gets in, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be way earlier than 20 or 25 years, whatever that's going to be.
I hope it's not 25 years.
Well, I mean, if you're talking seniors committee and that, it could go that long.
Yeah, because how okay, when did he retire?
Just like, what, a year, 2 years ago?
So he's got like 3 more years to go. And then how many years are you in the ballot?
Is it 10? 7 or 10? Something like that?
Okay. 10 seems right. So we're probably looking 13 years down the road.
Yeah, Gore officially says here 2020, so a couple of years ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he'd be eligible in 2026, I believe, would be his first year. You have to have 5 full seasons of no football before you're eligible to be inducted. So 2026 would then be the first. So that'd be through 2035. And if that's the 10 years, I could see mid, like, again, I don't think he gets in as one of the main classes unless there's one of those years where there's not a lot of good options. Everyone else kind of gotten through. It could be a weak year. I could see that. But I think he might be one of the first to get in on a committee. I think the committee would respect it more because you get a different grouping, and they may look at him and assess more like, again, durability, versatility, and that gets him in. So maybe I'm going to say maybe 15 years from now. I don't think.
No, I'm going to go under that. I think he's going to go in as soon as he's eligible.
I hope
within the first 3-4 years.
I hope
he's going to. I think does he have the individual accolades? No, he doesn't. But yeah, so we got to take a quick break. We're already in the news update. How about that? I pressed the wrong button. Let's join Morgan in the middle of the news right here.
WAYY Eau Claire.
All right, final hour on this Wednesday morning before we're off for the rest of the week for Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Monday morning, though. Big thanks for tuning in however you may be tuning in from. We've got some stock reports that are going to be due here in just a couple minutes. We'll get back to some more football talk. We're going to make some picks coming up here for both college football and the NFL slate because we got some big games in the college football world out there. But first, before we get to some picks here, let's do some stock reports. Luke, whose stock is rising?
Jordan Love.
Hmm.
I think it's a little bit more a confirmation of those who've been watching closer are seeing that this is not like Jordan Love's terrible quarterback, like the hot takes from earlier this season. If you take any quarterback above Jordan Love, really? Hey, the stats are the stats.
Mhm.
And I know that, yes, okay, Charger defense is underwhelmed, given Brandon Staley's a defensive coach, but fine. Jordan Love had a pretty good game overall on Sunday. That's sure, stepping stone, building on it, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's what you want if you want to see him getting better with a young team around him. You could say trending, you could say stock rising for some of the other folks on the team, including, hey, my stock faller last week, Christian Watson. Overall, I generally liked what I saw from Love on Sunday. That's definitely up now. Tomorrow could make a big difference one way or the other. But right now it's trending in the right direction. Okay, weekly check the level meter. Last week you were at a 6. Where are you at this week?
6.5.
Oh, wow. We're going to be to a 10. So basically a combination of Favre and Rodgers by the end of the season.
Oh gosh, no, not there yet, man.
Careful. You might need to calibrate yours. You might need to go with like a 6.1 here.
That's true. That's true. I should.
You can parse this.
But I do think that was probably his best game as a pro.
Yeah, agreed.
Against the Chargers. So
yes.
My stock riser, Marquette men's basketball team picking up the W last night against number 1 Kansas. Marquette remaining undefeated. They're probably going to be top 2, I would think, now in the country.
Mm-hmm.
After this, at least moving up a spot here or something. But had a little heated trash talk going on in the game last night too between Shaka and Bill Self there a little bit. Some trash talk going on there, but no doubt about it. If Marquette can beat Purdue's number 2 for the tournament championship tonight, Marquette should be the number 1 team in the country. Agree?
Yeah.
I agree too.
Yeah.
If Marquette beats Purdue, they should be the number 1 team.
Absolutely.
Right now, my stock riser is Marquette basketball.
I think they're going to stick around there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
At least within the top 5 throughout the season.
Yep.
And I would not be surprised if they have, even if they don't beat Purdue here, I would not be surprised if they pop into number 1 at some point as the season goes along.
Yeah, I was rewatching the video of some trash talk going on with Shaka and Bill Self. It's like Shaka's doing all the jawing and Bill Self just kind of looks like, huh? What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I mean, granted, Self can point to the trophies.
Yeah, but
Fair.
hey, at least in this one, Marquette's got the W, not Kansas.
Yeah, okay. I mean, hey,
let's get these two in a national championship game or in the Final Four now. Come on now.
That would be fun.
Get a little trash talk going here.
That would be fun, yes.
But yeah, definitely Marquette basketball. I know we pay attention a lot to Wisconsin, but easily the best team right now in the state.
I mean, I get there's a rivalry between Wisconsin and Marquette, and for some you have to be either or. That's more of a Southern Wisconsin thing because of the proximity. Up here, I've been good with both. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Badgers, obviously. I root for a team that doesn't exist right now, seemingly. But I've always been good with Marquette, too. Like, okay, fine.
I was a Dwayne Wade fan when he was at Marquette, so, yeah.
I mean, if I had
who doesn't love a little Travis Diener? Come on.
Yeah.
Or Steve Novak.
Right. So I hope Marquette does more. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Stock faller.
Dean Evison, Wild head coach. I'm a little surprised they didn't go for the head coach change during the off days between the flight home from Sweden and the resumption of play later this week, because that's usually a good time to do a head coaching change. Wild are not good right now. Both of our teams kind of suck right now. Between the Kraken and the Wild are way underplaying. Their penalty kill is terrible.
Hey, we've got more points and we've got more wins. So you just calm your horses there a little bit.
Hey, the Kraken were on the Vegas pathway to being the dominant team, and then Stanley Cup winner this year. They got some work to do to get back on
Championships aren't
expectations.
won in the first month or month and a half in the season.
Yeah, well, losses can still happen.
Hey, just why don't you go talk to Boston about how good it is to be, really good right away, and then a few months later when you get to the postseason.
Hey, they're on track to win another President's Cup, so they should be pretty pumped over in Beantown right now. Yeah, I Kirill Kaprizov, you could say he's trending down for being one of the most dynamic offensive players. He's okay. He's not supposed to be okay. He should be excellent, and he's not taking advantage of the puck. He's making some odd shots here and there. I've talked with Anthony LaPanta. We've had him on the show before. He's the play-by-play voice of the Wild, and he's on he does I think it's a weekly or bi-weekly podcast, and he was pointing out in his pod, sometimes you get to the point where coaches, motivations, all that stuff, it's not there anymore. And the way he was talking about it kind of made me think he was saying we might be close to that time with Dean Evison. He made a point like with Mike Yeo. You may remember he was the coach of the Wild back in the late teens and went down to St. Louis, where it was to the point with Yeo that you had players during skate-arounds were kind of giving the eye roll to what Yeo was saying. Like they really were done with him. You're not getting that with Dean Evison, but you would think something would be motivating. It's got to happen fast if they're going to be something close. Not that, look, the Wild were not realistically going to win the Stanley Cup this year either because they're still under the Parise Suter financial restrictions. They just can't afford folks at this point. But it wasn't supposed to be this bad. I don't know if they lose more. They're on a 5-game losing streak. They had like a 3-game losing streak right before that. I think it could be gone within a week and a half. We know how fragile NHL coaches are with their tenures. So I stock down right now for Dean Evison.
Stock down for me is Frank Reich, head coach for the Carolina Panthers. 1-9. They don't have their first round pick. He's given up play calling. He's given himself back play calling. It has been an awful year. Yes, it's a growth year. You got a lot of youngsters, Bryce Young and such. I do wonder if it's a one and done though for Frank Reich this year with Carolina.
Did you see? Because we have to make the mention here at least once, so drink, folks. The Peter King rundown of all the coaches David Tepper is fired.
I did not see that rundown, no.
Because his thing in Football Morning in America was for a guy who was a minority owner of the Steelers with coaching stability.
Yeah.
Man, David Tepper has done a 180. Not that Tepper had any influence. He was a minority owner, but you'd think there'd be some influence. Oh my gosh, he is all over the place. Plus, he owns the Charlotte MLS team, firing coaches right and left there. Like they made the playoffs, fired the coach. Probably going to fire the coach here. This is probably going to be one of the more justifiable ones, I guess. But that's relative. Dude, I would not want a Carolina Panthers coaching job with David Tepper as my owner. And that's not to say Tepper's bad, but boy, he's got a quick trigger finger.
The guy he wanted last year spurned them to return to his job, and that was Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Lions. Do they try to make another run at that? Who knows? But
probably not.
Yeah, I don't know where they would go at this point, but I'd go. It doesn't look good for Frank Reich right now.
No, not at all. I think Reich's down.
Especially in your first year and halfway through, you've already given up play calling and then taken it back, and it's just like now you're just in desperate mode. So,
and you don't want to have the Bryce Young investment go south
right
that fast.
You need to bring in somebody. If you do, you need to bring in somebody that can help out Bryce Young. You need to bring in an offensive-minded guy.
I'd make the focus, even that stronger focus on one person. I know you can redraft a quarterback 2 years after you draft a first-round quarterback anyways.
But not when you trade an extra first-round pick for the guy.
Right.
Right. Especially when you see the second overall pick, C.J. Stroud, being talked about as an MVP candidate.
That's a bit of a problem. So,
Mm-hmm.
Reich's not going to last the rest to next year. I'd be shocked.
I thought he kind of got the short staff and with Indianapolis, but this year I don't think anybody realistically maybe expected Carolina to go to the playoffs, but it's just not been good right now.
Well, sometimes it's a bad fit. It happens, or maybe sometimes the game passes you by. There are all sorts of other explanations, and I think some combination of that is happening right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. All right, should we make some game picks?
Sure.
Let's start off with the college football world. Okay. Should we go with that one?
Let's.
I'm just going to bring up the schedule, and we're not going to pick every single game out there, but we got some good matchups coming up over here. So let's start off with, let's go. Man, where do I want to go? Let's go Oregon State versus Oregon.
The Civil War. Gosh, I'm simultaneously excited and sad with all of the great Pac-12. I almost said Pac-10. Pac-12 matchups.
Pac-4, Pac-6.
Wow. I am glad to see the Apple Cup they figured out a way to make that go. So I hope Oregon and Oregon State figure out a way to keep this Civil War going. That's also a really good rivalry. Game is at
Oregon.
Eugene. Autzen. I'm gonna go Ducks.
Yeah, I'm going Ducks too. I'm gonna go with was it Bo Nixon and crew over there? So
Beavers are plucky as heck. And that sounds like I'm like, hey guys, you're awesome. They're legit good this year. But Oregon could be a college football playoff team. Current model 4 teams. I go Oregon.
Let's go. I'm gonna actually go Wisconsin, Minnesota because I want to save the best one for last.
That says something when the border battle is early on in our picks.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I guess they got to play the game. Okay. It feels like with all the injuries the Gophers have had this year, and the Badgers are trending the right way. Wisconsin is the smart pick.
Wisconsin's favored 2.5, by the way.
Yeah, on the road. I almost went, and this is not a homer thing. It feels like this is one of these games that's setting up for. Oh wait, Minnesota found their mojo again, and then we're looking at the Badgers like the first half. Oh gosh, all the people that had all the Facebook posts first half the Nebraska game. I wasn't watching the game, but I thought, wow, this game is a disaster. I'm like, y'all made those posts, and then the Badgers won the game. We're still sure the Luke Fickell era is a complete and utter disaster. They won the game, but I could see that happening. What's your pick? I have to punch.
I'm going to go Wisconsin. And I think I'm going to go with a 20-17 win.
Okay, this feels like one of these closer games.
Minnesota needs to win to become bowl eligible. Wisconsin is all bowl eligible, but again, I mean it's the Axe one, and they could force a rival to be not bowl eligible. So
yeah.
Maybe Braylon Allen's last game.
Yeah. I am bouncing back. I'll pick the Badgers. Understanding full well, this is almost a 50.1, 49.9. I'm going to pick the Badgers. I'll take the under on that. It's going to be like 21-20 or something.
Yeah. So, all right, Ohio State, Michigan.
Good game. Let's see. In this one at Michigan, Michigan is angry as heck right now.
Good for them.
I think this is going to be a mauling
at the hands of Michigan.
Yeah.
Right.
By mauling, I don't mean like 52-10. Though I remember there was that game that got out of hand. What was it last year? It was supposed to be really close, and then it was just like that murderous Ohio State game. This could be the opposite of that. Not quite as much of a blowout, but right now I don't want to be playing the Wolverines. I pick Michigan.
I'm staying with my conspiracy theory. Ohio State wins.
That they're going to try to knock out Michigan.
Yep. I'm staying with it. I'm right. I've been riding that for the last few weeks, so I can't get off that horse right now. So
the worst case scenario is realistically the most likely scenario. A very close game. And the worst case scenario, Michigan wins like 31-23 or something, where clearly Ohio State's good. Michigan was just a little bit better. They're playing at home, and you really can't knock either team out of the top 4. That is the worst case scenario for the committee, because then what?
Right. Michigan's not going to be in.
Okay.
I'm riding with it.
Conspiracy Casper.
Yep. Oh, yeah. 100%. It's happening. So,
all right.
NFL picks. Ready for this?
Let's do
it. Bring it up here. I got to switch over to my NFL tab now.
Okay.
Let's go. Start off. I'm going to save the Green Bay one for last. So Washington at Dallas. Come on, Dallas. Okay.
yeah.
San Francisco at Seattle.
Good one. I am going to go with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I'm going 49ers as well. Black Friday. Get ready for some Tim Boyle action.
Yay!
Miami at New York.
Dolphins.
Roger said yesterday, they're not out of it yet.
You
Well,
might be
technically, he's
practicing.
right. Yeah. Let's stop it.
Well, Tuesday is his game day. You saw that quote.
Yeah.
Which that's being blown up, I think, more than it really.
Right.
That's more of a joke thing,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yep. Miami wins.
Yep.
New Orleans at Atlanta.
Oh boy. Atlanta sucks in DVOA right now. But can you really try? Like, this is potentially a division title.
It's whoever wants to win this division. Like, you can. Do you want to win this division right now? Is probably the question.
Could we go back to 3 divisions, or maybe make it 2 divisions?
What is this? College football?
I know this. Right, but maybe, because I'm getting a little tired of the 6-11 could get you a division champion. Like, no, I don't want division title winners for
or just get rid of
losers.
divisions.
Yes, let's do that. I mean, why not? The NBA doesn't care about divisions anymore, and we're fine with that.
Well, there's a little bit more rivalries with NFL.
Yeah, that's true. I know. For the game pick, let's say it. I know that I'm totally ready to see Coach Smith roll his eyes again, but I'm going to pick Atlanta.
I'm going to go New Orleans in this one. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, which now kind of a poo-poo game because no Joe Burrow. So, but
yeah.
No Matt Canada for Pittsburgh either. So people were taking a day off in Pittsburgh after that, celebrating.
Gosh, folks, really. You know what? I'll take I'm subject to change on some of these picks by the weekend, but just for now on the radio, I'm going to pick Cincinnati.
I'm going Steelers with this one. No Joe Burrow. That Bengals defense. I know everybody loves themselves some Lou, but they are the worst in terms of giving up big plays. And well, Pittsburgh's not very good at big plays in the passing department either. But
see, I wonder if this is one of these, like, it's like the galvanizing game for the Bengals. Like, we're going to come together, and they do it for one game, and this is it.
You can also say that for Pittsburgh now. They got a new offensive coordinator.
That's true. Yeah, so I'm not sure which one's more galvanized. Yeah.
Carolina at Tennessee.
Yeah,
I'll go Tennessee. 2. Tampa at Indy.
By Shaq Leonard. There's a lot of underwhelming games to start this weekend or this Sunday. I'll take the Colts.
I'm going Colts as well. Patriots at the Giants.
Oh my gosh, it's getting worse. Seriously, does that game have to be televised? Could we
Well, I mean, it's not all over, so I mean,
I know, but could Fox save some money and just not broadcast it? I'll pick the Giants because why not?
I'm going Patriots in this one, although I don't know what Patriots fans are thinking right. Like, are they wanting to tank so they can get one of those quarterbacks? Because they got the worst record in the AFC right now.
Yeah, it's
the Patriots. So right now, if the draft started, where would they? Trying to see to load it up here. It's not frozen up on me right now. So, but anyways, yeah, they just got 2 wins. They're the worst in the AFC. So, but I'm gonna go Patriots in this one. Jacksonville at Houston.
Okay, now we're getting good. Like legit. I will take Houston in this one. I think they bounce back. And by that I mean CJ Stroud bounces back.
Yeah. I am going to go Jacksonville in this one.
Okay.
Let's go with Cleveland at Denver.
Potential defensive battle. Denver's defense getting better. Cleveland's defense already good. So do not be surprised if no one scores 20 in this one. I like where Denver's trending, though. I know Minnesota's got a decent defense, and they're not Cleveland's. But I don't quite trust Cleveland's offense. I'll say Denver wins this one.
I love me some Cleveland defense. Jim Schwartz is doing a fantastic job with that group. I picked Cleveland to win last week, even with their new backup quarterback or their new starting quarterback. But this week, Denver, as you said, is playing a little bit better right now. So I'm going to go with Denver with this one.
Yeah,
with this pick. So maybe if it was in Cleveland, maybe a little bit different. I don't know. But
yeah, you might actually be like, I think it could actually be a flip. The home team might make the difference here.
Yep. Rams versus Cardinals.
Gosh, I almost was going to pick the Cardinals and be like, wow, I'm picking a lot of home teams this week. because seeing Kyler Murray was making me go, but I'll pick the Rams.
I am going to go with the Rams as well. Kansas City visiting Vegas.
Kansas City.
Yep, Kansas City. Interesting one. Buffalo at Philly.
And the Philly folks want their offensive coordinator fired.
Yep.
The 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles.
By the way, just letting you know, Packers did interview that guy for their offensive coordinator a couple of years ago. But carry on.
Noted. I'll take the Eagles.
I'll take the Eagles too.
Yep.
Baltimore at the Chargers.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing about all the Brandon Staley shots we're going to see during that game. Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore too. Chicago at Minnesota.
Vikings.
I'll go Vikings as well. Then Green Bay, Detroit tomorrow, a little over 24 hours from now.
Gosh, that's weird to say.
27 hours, I think, right now.
Yeah, bingo. 27 hours, 4 minutes, and 21 seconds. I'm going to go Lions.
I am going Lions as well.
What's
Definitely.
the line on it?
Let me bring that up. Let's see. It is 7.5.
Ooh, I'll take the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the over too.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair line. I think that is a fair line.
Because my first blush would say, would you say like 10.5 or something? But is this people freaking out about Jared Goff from last weekend? Like, kind of like the Brock Purdy thing from earlier this year, like one bad game and immediately people go back to their priors from years ago.
Maybe, but I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Jared Goff was getting hyped up as an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
He's got 16 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions of the year so far. And I know a couple of those interceptions came from last week, but still.
It sounds like a 70s quarterback.
Well, it's if those numbers also sound familiar, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, that's Jordan Love.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, ostensibly Jared Goff is more talent around him, so he shouldn't have the excuse of having
Bingo.
All right. So more credit to Love on that.
What does that mean? Jordan Love is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Clearly. Well,
Easily.
again, based on the Love-O-meter, you're going to be at a 10, which is greatest quarterback of all time by the end of the season.
No, I won't.
No.
I will max it out. This is just for confidence. This isn't like the best, right? So
Right, yeah.
I think I'll max out at like a 7.5.
It's a futures.
Yeah.
Okay, so but yes, I'm picking the Lions and I'm picking them to cover.
And I think a lot of it too is Green Bay's injuries for this game.
Yeah.
Detroit's pretty darn healthy. They had 4 guys on their injury report. 3 out of the 4 were listed as full. Green Bay had double digits.
Didn't I see tickets are like hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get into like the nosebleeds on this one? Or something. One of these games with at Ford Field, but like it's really expensive to go see the Lions right now.
Can anybody in Michigan afford it?
Good question. Well, apparently the demand is there. What are these all Lions fans from around the country going on like a pilgrimage
All right.
to Detroit? Like we get to go see a good team. Yay.
Well, they've been showing up at opposing stadiums. They did at Lambeau.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I had no idea that the diaspora of Lions fans across the country were like, I thought that was just like a Packers, Steelers, 49ers fans thing. I didn't know the Lions fans were all coming out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, how many Lions fans do you know personally know?
I know a
asked this
couple.
earlier this
Yeah, I know a
season.
couple.
Yeah, like I've only known like 1 or 2 in my life.
Mhm.
I think I saw at the playground recently. I saw someone with like Lions gear on. I'm like, "Are you from around here?" I didn't ask them, but I'm like, "Are you from Wisconsin or did you move here?" Like that's a pretty rare thing to see around. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think they have that player either, like a Barry Sanders, where you're just buying it for the player. Not yet, at least.
No,
I don't think St. Brown's there yet.
definitely not Jared Goff.
No,
Sorry,
and I don't think Williams is there yet either.
I'm on around St. Brown. He's got to get a little better, but he could be.
I mean, he's good, but yeah, he's not probably top 5 yet at this point. So.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So, all right, let's take a quick break, y'all. We'll talk some more football coming up after these few words. quick update on the standings for our Pro Football Weekly Pick'em Challenge, because it's a tight one up there, and you want to make sure you get your picks in. Tim, first place, 110. Tony, second place, 109. Garrett, 108. Darren, also 108. Henry, 107. Myself at 106. Luke and Brandon and a few of you tied at number 6 with 105 right now. So make sure you get those picks on in, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
This is the
week.
week that I think screws everybody up because they kind of forget about it.
Yep.
So, or don't, and then I can just take over first place. That's fine.
Yeah,
I can do that too.
so
So
presuming you get your picks right.
if nobody makes them and I just make some picks, I'm pretty sure I could leapfrog some people.
I
So,
suppose. I mean, you
yeah.
could go 0-14. How many games do we have this weekend?
let
We
me
got buys.
we've got there's 16.
Oh, everyone's playing. Okay.
16 games.
So
right
you
now.
could go 0-16. You could also go 16-0 too. So
Did I make my? Yeah, I made my picks. I better double check. Telling everybody else to make their picks. I better double check.
Yeah.
Here.
Did not pick.
I think I'm pretty sure I did. Let me just double check since I have it up here.
My fantasy teams are all set, so I got that. But now I got to do my picks. My formally lock in, stone cold lock picks. Make it formal for the public.
Yeah, right. No kidding. So I gotta beat my buddy Garrett on here though. That's what I'm concerned about right now. I gotta beat my buddy Garrett. So he's been on top of me on top of the standings above me here for a little bit. So
A little bit.
yeah, for a little bit there. So shout out Garrett too, by the way. Elbow Room now carries Man Cave Light over there.
Nice.
So yeah, go grab yourself some Man Cave
Spreading
Lights.
around the Chippewa Valley.
Soon, the goal, Lambeau Field, hopefully. Long goal. Hey,
Now-
dream big, right?
Well, you
Dream big.
Well, now here's the thing. Now I don't know how many beers they have there, but I know
Beers.
one of the beers. How that American Family Field is known for having so many beers on tap from the state of Wisconsin. Do you have it as a goal to get it at AmFam Field?
Anybody going to show up to a Brewers game?
Good question, but at least for the beer and the assorted sausages, I mean that's a reason to be there as well.
Mhm.
Like we need to get people next summer taking photos, tailgating outside American Family Field with Man Cave
Oh,
Lights.
we've had that.
We have?
Yeah,
Okay,
we've had
okay,
that.
good.
I
Okay,
believe
good.
our good friend Richie has done that. Rocky, I think Brandon's even done it.
I've probably seen those actually now that you
Yep.
say that.
Shout out to Rocky. He took a photo of his deer with a Man Cave Light. So I love those pictures.
But see, get it on tap there, then you get some guy that's on a ballpark tour. It's like, look at all these Wisconsin beers. There's even a Man Cave Light. What's that? I tried that. That was
I think we need to get it in cans. That way you can see the logo, though.
yeah. But
That
on
way.
tap, I mean, up there with like, Spotted Cow and all of the think of the Wisconsin classics. And there's Man Cave Light
Mhm.
on tap
Yeah.
for the Brewer fan ready to watch some bad Brewer baseball.
Well, it is green and yellow, though, too. So Lambeau is kind of the goal.
Well, understandable,
Yeah.
of course. Yes.
Yeah. I did make my picks, too. So we're good.
Good.
We're ready to go here. Okay. Since tomorrow is Thanksgiving. By the way, you going over to Jump River? Going over that sometimes you do?
No, we're going to
No?
be staying back. Reason being that my wife, of course, her family's up in Jump River. They're having their Thanksgiving on Saturday, but because she works retail,
Gotcha. Yeah. Black
not-
Friday.
yeah, she shot down the proposal. That wasn't from me; it was from her mom, and she was like, "Hard no," like the text.
Yep.
So nope. She's working a lot this weekend.
I believe it. So, top 5 power rankings Thanksgiving food.
Yes, let's do it.
Number 5 for you.
Oh boy, I got to reverse order these.
Yep. Duh. You got to go from one up, right?
Gosh, I hadn't put together my list. Are we going back and forth on this? Because then I can quick whip it up while you do yours.
Yeah, we're going back and forth on
Okay, so
this.
you start, and then I'll have my number 5 because I got a quick rank.
I'm the
and-
one running this program, and I said you go first.
Dang it, you're right.
Fine. I'll go 5. For me, I'm gonna go with turkey.
Well, down at number 5.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay. I will go because I'm going to rank that one. Okay. I'm going to throw in cranberries. Always homemade. Never do the can. It's homemade. There's probably a little extra, like lemon juice thrown in there. So cranberries. Doing that. My mom typically makes that one. It's awesome. She's working on that probably tomorrow. That's number 5.
All right. Number 4 for me is mashed potatoes.
Okay. Number 4 for me would be. I am gonna go with. I'll just say mashed potatoes because that's yeah.
You're such a copycat.
I know, okay, fine.
Number 3. It's not a typical Thanksgiving one, but my grandma makes it every year. I'm going with her coleslaw.
Okay. Oh, nice choice.
Yeah.
Not super conventional. I like that. The turkey is number 3. But this year will be turducken. Mine is ordered. Should be picking it up later today.
I got mine yesterday.
Mm.
I got my turducken yesterday. I picked it up when I was over there at Hy-Vee.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a call sometime today. I think they said they'd have it ready today for us. It's like 10 pounds.
Yeah, I got mine in the taking it. I'm not making it for Thanksgiving, but I will be making it soon. So
okay, good.
Yeah. Number 2 is the stuffing.
And a somewhat related note, my wife's bread pudding.
Okay.
So you can't really have that and stuffing that's duplicate. I mean, yeah, you could. I mean,
because that's different.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are differences, but there are enough similarities. And plus, her bread pudding, that's our main project for later on today, is making all of that. There's like parsley, all sorts of cheeses. There's egg. There's a ton that goes into it, and it's freaking awesome. That is number 2.
bread pudding.
Bread pudding, but it's very savory. This is not a sweet one. This is hardcore savory.
Okay.
Do not have that for dessert, or it's gonna get weird.
All right.
Don't put whipped cream on it.
Okay.
No.
Number 1, gravy.
Yeah, you love gravy.
Like Stuart Scott said, like gravy on a biscuit. It's all good.
Nice shout out.
Yeah.
Is there anything on which you would not put gravy?
That's a very good question.
Would you put gravy on a dessert?
I put gravy on a little pumpkin pie, yeah.
Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
What's wrong with that?
I'm just nothing wrong with it. I just hadn't thought of that. I mean, but here's the thing. You put gravy on your plate, you're trying to squeeze as much on there. Gravy's going to make its way into like everything.
Well, that's the thing. You put it on your plate, the gravy goes over everything. Your turkey, your stuffing, your potatoes, your coleslaw, whatever.
Even the stuff you don't want it to get on, it still gets there. But
Well, why wouldn't you want it? What don't you want it on?
Well, that's the thing. Like at some point, it just sort of all flavors together as like Thanksgiving food. So yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah,
do it.
We'll top it on everything.
Okay.
What's your one then?
My mom's sweet potato pie. Again, I always say this every year. She has no connection to the South whatsoever. But dang, that is a thing. She's made it for years. Some cardamom, sweet potatoes, and that is more of a dessertish sort of thing. So think it's like pumpkin pie, a little thicker, I guess you'd have to say. There are pecans across the top, but not necessarily. So, like, if you were to try some, we could always make sure there's a nut-free version. But yes, the sweet potato pie, hands down, number 1. That is definitive Thanksgiving for me.
All right,
very much so.
There's your top 5, ready to go. I like it.
A lot of the usuals.
Oh yeah, I'm a traditionalist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a traditionalist in that.
So. But then, hey, I've never had a turducken before.
I've never either, so that might have to change some things.
Right.
I'm very excited for this, but they need to switch it up and change the name to a Madden little theme there. So, although, is it the NFL doing that for Black Friday? I think
on Thursday. It's like a whole like last year they did all sorts of John Madden stuff. They're doing that again this year. Like they're going to be.
Is it Thursday? Because I saw the release I got from NFL Communications, but I didn't read it. So,
what was the thing? Here, because I remember reading it on Uniwatch, and I found the post of all the stuff you're going to get. So, there will be a Madden patch on all the jerseys tomorrow, on the 6 teams. Pre-game coin toss. We'll have a portrait on Madden on one side and a 6-legged turducken on the other.
Nice.
There will be John Madden Thanksgiving celebration stencils on the sidelines.
Yes.
Each TV broadcast will begin with a Thanksgiving John Madden themed video spot. I can see it here, so
Boom.
Watch the beginning. But that's going to be that. Not a fan. Or did you say boom or
no?
boom?
I said boom.
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
good,
boom.
good.
I was trying to.
What wouldn't you?
I was channeling my inner Madden.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all good. Also, the league said network partners Fox, CBS, and NBC will celebrate Madden's contributions to the game, both on and off on the field and in the broadcast booth, with tributes interspersed throughout each game.
Mm-hmm.
There will also be Madden related and Thanksgiving programming on like Sirius XM, NFL Radio, Westwood One, etc. So
Yeah.
those are the things you will not miss. John Madden content.
Yeah, I got the release. I found it now. So
Is there anything I missed? And again, that was 7 days ago. So is there anything more?
No, it's I mean, it's a big release here, so I'm not really gonna read it all through here. So, but yeah,
That's the gist of it. So yeah, get ready. You're gonna get a lot of
yep.
Madden
Like
stuff.
as you said, John Madden's silhouettes features silhouette on the coin heads with the reverse side of the coin. Yep, turducken. John Madden Thanksgiving celebration stencils, as you mentioned, and yada 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 yada.
So okay, this may be a little bit of a controversial take, but how long do you think they should keep doing this for Thanksgiving?
for Madden,
Yeah. Is this perpetuity, or because this is the first year totally made sense, and I was a little surprised.
if they're not going to switch the all pro teams to all Madden, then keep this.
Kind of an either or proposition.
Yeah,
Okay.
I personally think they should have changed the names of the all pro to the all Madden teams, because I remember as a kid I paid more attention to the all Madden teams than all pro. I mean, that was, by the way, just the other day played Madden 95 on Game Boy, brought back some great memories.
Nice.
Great memories. Don't run the football with the Packers, though, because you can't. Speaking of Barry Sanders, he's fantastic in that game. So that brought back some good memories. That's how I learned nickel and pro form, and pro set, crossing routes, rollouts, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Was that.
Very educational.
Yes.
Football educational.
It was. It was very, I mean, you had no idea if you were going to complete a pass or not, but gosh, that brought back some good memories playing on that original Game Boy too, not Game Boy Color or anything. We're talking about the big honking white gray one
Yes.
over there. So,
Early 90s?
Yep.
Yeah.
God,
Nice.
that was my first Madden game.
You need to get some TikToks of you playing that.
Yeah. I was always the NFC Pro Bowl team. It was always the NFC Pro Bowl team because their quarterbacks were Aikman and Young. Receivers was Rice and Irvin. Running backs was Smith and Sanders.
That was back when the NFC dominated. I mean, you could do a Pro Bowl team and like a
And legit, when I say you can't run the football with the Packers, you can't, because it is such a difference in speed between Edgar Bennett and even Emmitt Smith. It literally looks like a little bug spurning or churning his legs as fast as he can, but he maybe moves a centimeter. If you gain more than 2 yards with Edgar Bennett on that game, that's like a 15-yard run. Whereas you're instantly guaranteed like 5 yards with Barry Sanders or Emmitt Smith. The speed difference is so ridiculous on there. So ridiculous.
We need a visual on this. Like
I know
it's
it's like, you may think I'm over exaggerating. I'm not.
No,
Anybody who's played Madden 95 on Game Boy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe I'll record it today if I think about it. Like, it is bad. If you just get to the line of scrimmage, you're happy. It's awful. It's awful.
There's a little bit of a difference there. Yeah.
I mean, it's like a rating of 90 compared to 50.
Jeez. Okay, so the Packer running game wasn't exactly
No. So, I mean, I'm sure there's other teams like that with the running backs too, but yeah, I mean, because Packers and that. So, but yeah, it was bad. Very bad.
They didn't need their running game in the 90s.
Oh, and I'd forgot when I was playing with it, they actually had the 67 Packers on there. So they had some old school teams on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The only downfall is too, like, if you do some of those old ones, you better know the numbers, because they don't say player names. They just say the numbers. and with the current ones too, they don't say the player. They don't show it on there. They just show the numbers. So
Someone who really has no idea starts to try to have number 5 playing quarterback. No, guys. Nope. No. Don't do it.
if you don't look at your roster, you don't change your depth chart when you're the NFC Pro Bowl team, you don't know if it's Aikman or Young, your starter right away. You got to go in
Ooh.
there and look at it.
It's
So
mystery.
yeah, because you can't tell if he's throwing right or left on that thing. Good. Man, I missed that.
Oh boy.
See, I see they got NFL Blitz in arcade games too. I want to get that. Gosh, I wish I was a kid again.
Oh,
I wish I was a kid again.
Or just just keep playing those games all the time. Relive it.
No, I want to go back to the 90s, man. I want to relive the 90s.
I love the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did, by the way, watch that on VH1 back in the.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so good.
Yes. I wish they would do some updates on that though.
Like what? Like additional stuff that they didn't talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's the 90s one was pretty decent. 70s was 80s was the classic. I mean, that was the GOAT.
Well, for you.
Well, it was the best done. Like the 90s was like, okay, because they first had I Love the 80s. The first one is the best which is really weird when you go back and watch that from 2002 and then see people just being interviewed. You're like, that's 20 plus years ago. They're way older now. That's one of those that like starts to rock your mind to think how long ago that now is. The 70s one was just a lot of, I remember this. Like, okay, cool. It was boring. It wasn't funny. The 90s one was better. The 80s was the best in terms of comedy, but the 90s was a solid one for sure. But yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff you could pull out now, especially now with 90s nostalgia being so huge.
Yeah.
There are things you could bring back.
Man, down memory road now. All right, let's take a quick break and then we'll wrap things up after these quick words. All right, wrapping things up here. About 5-6 minutes left to the top of the hour here. Bucks in action tonight. Big game going up against the Boston Celtics. Tip off at 6 p.m. Coverage begins at 6 on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So you're going Celtics too with your pick?
I am.
Yeah.
I saw the Bucks Film Room Twitter account and then Paul Henning, the Saber Bucks guy, were going back and forth on the matchups tonight. Bucks Film Room is Giannis on Tatum and Lillard on White, and Drew would be on Beasley. But then Paul Henning thinks Drew is going to guard Giannis.
Oh.
At least to start.
Post him down, big man. Post him down. Back him down.
So will we see Drew on Dame tonight?
Yes, we will.
At some point,
yes.
I think we will. I mean, it's not like they're all going to be like locked in man to man.
Especially if Dame's like on fire and that.
Yeah.
You better put Drew Holiday on. Don't put Drew Holiday on. What am I talking about? Don't do that. So
giving the Celtics advice.
Yeah, right. So but Bucks win. They'll be going up first place, tied for first place in the Eastern Conference with the Celtics, but they'd hold the tiebreaker. So there you go. First place on the line for tonight.
If the season ended today, it'd be weird because it's late November.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But definitely one that was circled on when the schedule was released and probably got circled a few more times after the whole Drew Holiday thing too. So do you think this is the next best rivalry coming between these two?
I think so. Yeah, especially because of Drew Holiday going over there. Now I know that's not necessarily a long-term thing, but I'd say for now, probably so. Maybe see a little bit of spiciness tonight without anything getting on a hand, of course, would probably help a little bit. And we were all hoping it was going to be Sixers Bucks, and that hasn't really materialized. Of course, Sixers are really good this year. I think it's the Celtics and Bucks.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out 76ers. They're playing better than I thought they were. But when you lose James Harden, that probably does help you benefit quite a bit there too.
Keep remembering Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah.
He's becoming a star as the season is
now
going
that he's got
along.
a bigger role in that too.
Yep. The Sixers are doing just fine. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'd still say it's a top three-team conference right now.
Agreed.
With Bucks, Celtics, and Sixers.
Too bad only two of them can make the conference finals.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, hey, I know we kind of had this last year, but maybe that's where that one seed is going to come very important, so you don't have to have that 2-3 matchup potentially.
Right.
We talked a little bit about it last year. Was it 76ers and Celtics?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter the Bucks because they lost in the first round anyway. So
right. That's a thing. Again, it's early, but right now it's going to matter a lot for those three.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, Badgers in action tonight, taking on SMU, and then Marquette as well. So we got plenty of basketball on if that's going to be your fancy for tonight, leading up into football tomorrow.
Like I said before, Sixers and Timberwolves should be a really good matchup as well. Yeah, there's a lot tonight going into tomorrow. So if you're doing your Thanksgiving prep, have several streams of TVs going on in the background. You're probably going to need it.
I believe I firmly believe that if Marquette can beat Purdue, they should be at least number 2 team in the country. Number 1. I mean, you beat number 1, number 2, and you're already number 4. You should probably be number 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they should be number 1 completely for sure.
Yep. So, and I think they got a good shot to do it tonight. We'll see.
I think so.
We'll see. Yeah. But and then the Badgers taking on SMU. That one's at 7:30. For the Marquette and Purdue one, in case anybody's wondering. Oh crap, where did it just go? I just had it. That's at 4, so a little bit earlier this afternoon. So
cool.
And then of course the full slate of football tomorrow. We're both going with the Lions for our picks. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's just that the Lions are going to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that's going to be the biggest difference in this one.
Yeah,
I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Lions got I know Pro Football Focus just came out with their latest rankings. They got the Lions as the best offensive line in the league. So they can run the football. They're a top 5 offense out there. I think they're going to win it in the trenches, and that's going to be the main difference in this thing.
Yeah, they're better right now. They are better. That's okay to admit that right now they're better. Could change in the future. Right now, that's where we're at.
My bold prediction, though, I had in the first hour, if Packers win this one or the Chiefs game, one of these two, I think they go to the postseason. Because after that, it's Giants, Tampa, Carolina, Minnesota one gives me pause, and then Chicago.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're on to
The most important one, though, is tomorrow because of conference record. And that's why Green Bay is at number 8 right now above the Rams and Atlanta because of their conference record.
Best Thanksgiving ever if they win, if the Packers win tomorrow.
Oh, gosh. Man Cave Lights will be flowing. Flowing, man.
Scotches.
And victory scotches, exactly. So
Liquor before beer, then you're in the clear.
happy Thanksgiving, everybody.